How's it going? Uh, Mike Burns, person's whose essays you've been reading, grading, dealing with all semester, sentence fragments and such. Um, anyway, let's get this oral presentation underway. I've selected the topic to choose a movie, but also I feel that even though I chose this movie, it seems like it's just like it's a joke, which it is. Great movie if you haven't seen it. But I also think it has a very prevalent issue as far as people being judgmental and not getting to know one another, stereotypes, that sort of thing. Um, uh, there's just a lot of assumptions in the world today, rather than, you know, taking the extra step and getting a little extra information before you make a decision or, think you know somebody just because of what you've heard. But basically, um, the reason I chose this is because, like I said, it's an important issue. It is a movie I know very well, so it's easy to analyze it. I also have a couple other, texts from the Longman Reader and one of the handouts that we have read through this course. Basically, the background information of this movie: a guy named Andy, who happens to be, as you could guess, a 40-year-old virgin. In today's society, waiting that long to have sex is just frowned upon. It's considered weird. Uh, just the way we've been raised, I guess, most of us. But I feel, honestly, that it's more of a personal decision and it shouldn't matter. It doesn't affect him as a person. Yes, he might not know a couple, of the things that other people do, but it's really not that important of an issue for him to be just judged and some of the things that he goes through in the movie, which make it so funny. But in reality, in the real world, things like this do happen, and just these people are sort of exiled um, from certain groups and cultures and things like that. And I really don't feel like it should be like that. It's probably more um, of an American way. Obviously other countries, like in the Middle East, there's arranged marriages and things like that. Tribes in Africa don't really have that sort of problem. Um, but here in America, which is where we live, it is a very big issue and topic. But not just the sexual part of it. I don't want to get too caught up in that. I really just want to address the issue of assumptions and judging people and sort of casting them away. Like I said, exile, because uh, if you're not accepting these people, you're making them feel worse about themselves. You're pushing them away, and honestly, like the suicide rate these days is it's overwhelming, and it just doesn't need to be like that. But on a lighter note, you should definitely watch this movie. Another thing that I want to talk about, as far as like the judgments and things like that, and getting to know people, I'm gonna read a little excerpt from Joseph Swinya's "Then I Went to School," which we have read, and he says in his essay, "School was a painful experience during those early years. The English language and the new set of values caused me much anxiety and embarrassment. I couldn't comprehend everything that was happening, but I could understand very well when I messed up or when I wasn't doing so well. Negative messages were communicated so effectively, and I became more and more unsure of myself. How I wished I could understand other things in school just as well." Basically, the other kids, you know, they said their jokes and made fun of him and sort of made him feel like an outcast because he's from a different culture, which I don't understand really. Maybe this is, a little bit older than our time period, but I'm sure it still happens today. Because he's from a different culture. This is America. This is like a melting pot of all cultures. So segregation was over the last time I checked, so I really don't understand um, how anybody could feel that they have the superiority to cast anyone out of a group or not involve anybody. Uh, Especially name calling and bullying, which is a totally separate topic, but it sort of ties in this a little bit. It's just completely unacceptable, and definitely, I just don't understand it. And then one more thing I like to read is from Nightwalker by Brent Staples. Um, Basically, he said he was following this lady just to start out the story, and it just gives a little description. A broad 6'2" with a beard of billowing hair, both hands shoved into his pockets of bulky military jacket, seemed menacingly close. She picked up her pace, was soon running in earnest. Within seconds, she disappeared into a cross street. Once again, just judging based on appearance. Um, Concluding, I really said all that needs to be said. It's a pretty short presentation, 5 to 6 minutes, but basically, judgment is something that doesn't need to occur in today's world, especially, with all the different cultures combined into one society. There's really no room for it. We just need to, take the extra step and get to know one another. And that's really all I have for you. Thanks for this semester, and see you soon.